I believe when it comes to clean technology and renewables, we're truly at a transformational moment in time. There are growing energy needs around the world. We have the ability to meet those needs in a sustainable way. I believe, and many others do, that it's one of the largest and most compelling emerging market opportunities in the world. Why would we refer to clean technology and renewables as an emerging market? Energy has been ubiquitous for over 100 years. Coal, natural gas, and oil have been widely available and generally affordable, at least in developed markets like ours. But they won't be forever. All of those are finite resources. We have a growing global population. But interestingly, and more importantly perhaps, the per capita consumption of energy is going to approach that of developed countries, and that will put a big strain on conventional sources of energy. That's why we believe that clean technologies and renewable technologies will be so interesting going forward. Historically, many forms of renewable energy just have not been competitive with traditional fossil fuels. But that's changing, and it's actually changing fairly rapidly. Let's take solar, for example. A few years ago, that was $90 a watt. This year, it will be less than $1 a watt. Wind is another source of energy that's becoming competitive with the grid. Technologies have lowered the cost just as they have with solar. Another example is turning waste into energy. Most people don't think about it, but when you take a plastic bottle, even when you deposit it in a recycle can, you think it's going to be recycled, but much of it actually goes straight to a landfill. And now there are companies taking those plastic bottles and actually turning them into fuel. Clean technology and renewables field is in its early innings. And like any emerging industry, it's very volatile. And we happen to be going through a difficult period right now with market acceptance. So it will take some time and scale for clean technology and renewables to compete effectively with industries that essentially have been around for over 100 years. Financial institutions have a vital role in developing the renewables industry. Over $600 billion has been invested in this sector to date. And we think that number will double over the next 10 years. By 2020, we think renewables will require $395 billion on an annual basis. Goldman Sachs finds this market to be incredibly compelling. And for that reason, a couple of years ago, we formed a new group called the Clean Technology and Renewables Group. Our mission simply is to advise, finance, and invest in the premier clean tech companies globally. As a firm, we have invested $4 billion and financed over $24 billion to date. We've just set a target to invest and finance another $40 billion over the next 10 years. Let me give you some examples. In solar, we have invested in companies creating new technologies to develop even more efficient photovoltaic panels. We've also financed companies that are putting up utility-scale solar projects. We're investing in companies in the lighting space. There are a number of companies that are trying to produce very efficient LED lights. Another area that we're focused on is electric vehicles. And while those are just now being produced, you'll see many more on the road going forward, and some of them can travel up to 300 miles without needing a charge. One of the roles a financial institution can take is to integrate people, capital, and ideas. So if you can identify promising entrepreneurs, finance those entrepreneurs, introduce them to large industrial companies that can adopt those technologies rapidly, that would be very helpful to the adoption of renewables. And that's precisely what we're trying to do at Goldman Sachs.